Neil Schulte has been the Economic Development Director for the city since 2006. His duties include business retention and recruitment, responding to a variety of information requests, facilitating the planning and implementation of local economic development initiatives, as well as coordinating with public and private economic development and business organizations, including us, in the community. He has a degree in political science from Northern Illinois University. Scott Kugler is the city's planning director and has held this position since 2002. He has been a professional planner for about 20 years and has worked in both the public and private sectors while serving communities of various sizes throughout the Midwest. He has a bachelor's degree in urban studies from the UW Green Bay, go Packers, and a master's in community planning from the University of Cincinnati. Please welcome Scott and Neil.
Thank you, Ann, and thanks everybody. Hope I'm not talking too loud here. Let me know if you can't hear me though. Just wanted to, on behalf of Neil, I guess, say thanks for the invite and giving us an opportunity to come and talk to you today. We always enjoy coming out here each November to give people an update of what's going on. And I don't know about Neil, but it gives, for me anyway, it kind of gives me a chance to get out of the trenches of the day-to-day work and look back at what's happening, a little bit bigger picture, and it's nice to do that once in a while. Just kind of along those same lines, I guess, giving thanks and given the season, kind of arranged things today based on the season. So I'm going to go through just some things that Sun Prairie has to be thankful for. And we've had a lot of hard times, I guess, nationwide here in the state, here in Sun Prairie. Over the last couple of years, it hasn't always been good from an economic standpoint, but I think Sun Prairie is in a better position than some other communities, in a better position than we could be. And I think there's a lot of things to, I guess, to give thanks to and be a little more positive about as we move forward. And the first one, Main Street, has reopened again. So, I was hoping that would get some cheers. Long time coming. We were hoping to be able to complete that full project a couple of years ago, but we had to coordinate with the DOT on the portion underneath the interchange. They weren't quite ready for us, so we got that completed. We actually have one more little phase near Walmart that we'll talk about in a little while to completely complete that project. Having to do with McCoy Road, but you know, this is something that we're all excited about. Just driving through that the last couple of days, it seems to be working well, functioning well. It's a little rough around the edges yet. We have some finishing to do with some of the streetscapes and so forth, and it's not going to green up until next year, but something that we're all excited about. Reason number two, the city budget season is over. And this is something that Neil and I are probably a little more happy about than many of you, but it was a tough season, a tough budget season. You know, cuts that obviously came down from the state. The fact that growth has been slow the last few years, it was a very difficult process to get through. But I think, you know, we're ready to move forward now. We did have some staffing changes, some reorganization of several departments in the city that affect both of our departments. But I think we're ready to move forward and make things work. In terms of capital projects, we don't have the big signature project coming next year like we had last year with Main Street. It's more of a series of small projects in residential areas, but there are a couple of more major stormwater projects that may or may not occur next year. I think the good news, no increase in the levy now for the third year in a row. So that's something to thank our city council for. And then some stats that came out from our finance department for residential properties. I don't know how this applies to commercial, but for residential properties, 80% of properties will see either a decrease or an increase of less than $50. So trying to lighten the burden on the taxpayer to the extent we can. Reason number three, we have a birthday coming up, 175 years. I'm not going to talk a lot about this, but just something to look forward to. You'll probably see celebrations and planning for celebrations coming up over the next 6 to 12 months for how we're going to address that. Reason number four, here's another chance for people to cheer. Woodman's is finally under construction. So, Woodman's by far, since I've been here for the last 9.5 or 10 years, this is the source of the single source of the most questions that I get from people in the community. When is Woodman's coming? Are they coming? Why haven't they built yet? Why hasn't the city approved this? It's a lot of misinformation out there, but I'm going to go into a little more detail here just to give you an overview of what to expect out there. The building will be by far the largest retail building that we have in the city, 222,000 square feet. The grocery store. There'll also be an auto service facility oil and lube center and a gas station on another parcel across the street, which I'll show you. Their property has land for 8 additional development lots, and let's look at that quickly. So this is an aerial photo, and just to orient you here, this is 151. This is County Highway C, or Grand Avenue, and the Woodman site sits right here. Obviously, if you've driven by that area at all in the last 6 months or so, you've noticed a lot of activity there. But a couple of things to point out. The new intersection that was just installed along County Highway C at Prairie Lakes Drive, that will involve the extension of a street that will go through the Woodman's property and will eventually extend to the east to connect to additional development properties that hopefully will develop at some point in the near future. Sucamel Road, which is a portion of Old County Highway C that was existing, has been upgraded to a city standard, and that will provide access for Woodman's as well. And also as part of this project, sanitary sewer was extended to the project limits to be extended in the future again to accommodate more development in that area as it occurs. This is their site plan. Again, this is County Highway C. This is 151. So here's the grocery store, their parking lot. This is the gas station and auto service facility that I mentioned, which will be across the street, across Prairie Lakes Drive. The back of the store does face Highway 151. This is a big building, and it's a site that's surrounded by streets on all sides. Hard to hide some of those things that typically you put behind and try to de-emphasize as much as possible. So the approach here was to do some berming, do some planting back here, and deal with the architecture at the back of the building as best we could to make sure that that's attractive along 151. And I do have some images in a few minutes that I will show you that as to how we tried to address that. And luckily I was out there yesterday to take a couple of pictures, and the walls are starting to go up. So this is the first section of that building. They do anticipate that their completion will be late summer or early fall of 2012. And here's just a couple of images that they provided. So this would be the front of the store. Down at the bottom, this is actually the side that's probably most visible from 151. It's the small side of the building, but it's what you would see as you were heading towards Madison. And then this is the back of the building. Again, loading docks and so forth back there, but the attempt to try to screen that to the extent we can and put some architectural features back there to make that as attractive as we can. And then this, of course, is the gas station. Reason number 5, Costco is coming. They're actually scheduled to bring their plans to the Planning Commission next Tuesday night. And a lot of questions over the last couple of months about where is Costco going, when are they building, and so forth. So here's my chance to provide a little information and avoid some of those questions here in the next couple months. So just to orient you here, this was the Woodman site that we were just looking at. This is County Highway C, and this is Hepker Road. So Target right up there at the top of the map. So the store will be at the northwest corner of Hepker Road and Triumph Drive, and then the gas station again will be across the street. And this is their site plan kind of superimposed on that aerial photograph. So you can see how that will all fit together. Just a few details again, next Tuesday before the Plan Commission. This is a little over 150,000 square feet. Retail store, and there's also a tire center on the main building, and then the members-only gas station to the south of the roadway here. Costco will be bringing about 200 employees to the city. About 50% of those will be full-time, 50% part-time. They're planning on starting in the spring, and they actually have a pretty quick construction schedule and plan to be open already next fall.